Hello, everybody. Welcome to 321 No Kiddin. Bobbie the Awesome here. And today we are kicking off our non-alc series. I'm very excited. Um, I have with me today Daniel Incropera. Did I do it right? Uh,
Perfect.
from Craftmix. And part of why I'm doing this is to get educated both for me and for you and to share these brands that are just freaking hustling and doing the work and fighting the fight. So I want you to brag today, Daniel. But first, how about you introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are, maybe where you're from, and what is your role at Craftmix?
Absolutely. Well, first off, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to, like I said to you earlier, get the brand out there to as many people as possible. My name's Dan Incropera. I am the director of sales for Craftmix. We are a very small team, so there's actually only 3 full-time people. So it's myself, we have a marketing guy, and then obviously our founder still has his hands in everything. I grew up in New Hampshire. I just moved just south of Boston, so I live about 20 minutes south of the city. And I'm 25 years old. So that's a little bit about me. I've been with the company almost 2 years now. I actually started as a intern for our founder. So I worked for free for pretty much a full year and just started full time this past January. And here we are. It feels like 10 years, but it's only been, 22 months or so.
Well, congratulations. I wasn't going to comment on your baby face, but now I feel better. It's true.
Yeah.
It's
Yes. I
true.
try and, get the beard going, but you can tell it's a little, it's tough out here.
Well, I'm happy to have you here. And I just heard a new bottle shop opened in Boston area. So
They're
Dre,
becoming very, very popular. Like the mocktail world is just expanding. I think this year it just like 3 or 4x growth. I mean, it's like insane. Sober January, dry January is a huge thing for us, and I'm sure it is for you as well. It's a big month for it.
well, here's one of the things that kind of differentiates you. I'm guessing, well, maybe I'm wrong. So how about you tell me a little about the history? Who was your intention for the customer when Craft Mix first started?
Exactly. So the company first started, I want to say in 2019, and then we relaunched in December of 2020. And so how it started was our founder was a bartender in college. He's actually only a couple years older than I am, so he's a young guy as well. And he used to love having his friends over to make drinks and make cocktails, have margarita nights, all that jazz. But it's annoying to buy all of these big bottles, these like syrupy mixers that are just super high calorie, and then obviously buying all the alcohol on top of it, the agaves, the limes, just so much to goes into it. And at the end of the day, you're like, if you're having friends over, you're just in the kitchen the entire time making drinks. You bring a drink over, someone's like, I'll take another one, and it takes another 5 minutes to make drinks. So that's why he made this product. So this is essentially a cocktail or a mocktail in one little packet here. I have little hands. You can see how small and convenient they are. They fit in your pocket. And it's literally just a shot of liquor, 2 shots of water, and a packet. Or, of course, no alcohol needed. These are non-alcoholic powders. So just, substitute the vodka for another shot of water. They taste really good with sparkling water. So that's a little bit about the brand and how it started.
That really does solve a problem because whether it's non-alc or alc, you're right. And you buy all those big bottles and you only use them that night. So then they sit there because you start from scratch, at least in my drinking days. That's kind of how
Yeah.
it went. So I had your show and tell little box too. I love this box and I love the creativity and
Yeah.
the coloring of it.
Yep, that's our happy hour kit. So we send that to a lot of influencers and kind of big people, or even we love sending them to potential stores as well, just to kind of grease them up a little bit and get some product in there. It comes with packets, shot glasses, coasters, metal straws to save the turtles, and it comes in a cute little box. So
Yeah, let me see if I could show everybody. Here, I'm going to turn my background off again because it is too cute and I have it.
yep,
One of the things that I'm pretty passionate about from my background is not abusing the vendors. So, like, don't ask for samples and then sell them or do shady things, right? So, this is the box. I still have it. You guys sent it to me, I think, in October before I even knew I was opening the store because I thought I was going to be doing pop ups. And the cool stuff that Daniel's talking about, love it. Great branding. Is it okay that I'm playing show and tell? I
yeah,
should ask your
yeah,
permission.
no, 100%, 100%.
Um,
We pride ourselves in our branding. It's it's a huge thing for us. We want products to not only taste good, be convenient, be healthy, but also look good, right? You want to feel good about yourself while making the drink. It's an experience.
Yeah, and great instructions with pictures in the back. The
Yep.
coasters he was talking about, fun
There you
stuff.
go. Cheers.
And then LaCroix is in here so that you don't even have to think about that. So it's quite beautiful. So
Exactly.
do you mind talking about how your business has been impacted by non-alc in the movement? I call it the movement. I think it's a movement.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, like I mentioned, our founder was a bartender. So I think the initial kind of thought behind the brand was for it to be a cocktail company, right? I think like I mentioned too, it's the mocktail world has just exploded like crazy. Usually January and February are like by far our worst selling years. Like right after the holidays, it's usually pretty tough. But this past year, January was like one of our best months of the entire year, which is crazy, especially for being kind of a summery brand. Usually summertime's pretty big, but January cleared our summer this year. And now we're kind of starting to realize that, and it's like, wow, like that happy hour kit, we've had that made for years, and we've like that doesn't even have alcohol in it. So that's essentially a mocktail product right there. There's no alcohol. It comes with a LaCroix. That's all you need. So I mean, it's a huge thing. My girlfriend is a marathon runner, so whenever she's in prep for a marathon, she obviously doesn't drink, so she goes those 4 or 5 months without drinking, and she absolutely, lives and breathes these whenever we go out to dinner or anything like that. So,
Thank you for the optimism regarding January, because as a new bottle shop, it's scary. So
yeah,
everybody talks about it, and I guess thanks to people like you and your company, people are getting more awareness about dry January. I remember people at work being like, "Oh, I'm not drinking. Like it's after the holidays. I'm going to detox," and the whole New Year's resolution thing. Um,
yep,
but do you think that the reason maybe, and I don't know, I'm speculating here, but that last year's January was even better is because of the movement, because people are comfortable talking about it,
yes.
are getting rid of some of the stigma and the BS that surrounds drinking.
Yes, yes. And honestly, working for a cocktail company, I don't even really like drinking too much. I do it because it is kind of part of the brand. But I think the way that I see the world going is that drinking and alcohol is going to end up kind of being the same stigma as cigarettes. Like I think years and years down the road, of course, it takes time for anything to change in, society as a whole. But yeah, I think eventually it's going to kind of be like, you go out to a bar and you're like, I don't really want to drink. You kind of get made fun of, or like, why aren't you drinking? You're pregnant. And I think eventually down the road, that's just going to become more and more normalized as the movement grows.
That's awesome. It'll make my life easier.
Yes. Yeah. Good time for you to start the shop.
Well, yes, I have a very big vision around all of this. And like you mentioned, cigarettes and how it shifted. Me being in recovery from gambling addiction, it's the same
Mhm.
thing. People don't like it feels like alcohol, we call it, like the clinical is problem drinkers or whatever all that looks like. But alcohol's now got some light on it, and gambling still feels like 30, 40 years behind that we're not talking about.
Yeah.
So
And
I
I
totally
think gambling has become even more popular since like COVID, just because of the online sports books and sports betting and all that stuff. So I think that is going to kind of lag after alcohol, but I do think both of those vices, I guess, are gonna kind of taper off as the years go on.
I have nothing against people doing either. I just want people healthy and happy, and they just don't seem synonymous once we cross the lines, at least
Yeah,
for my
one life.
so so when I was researching you and Craftmix, I saw that you were in Kroger's.
Yes. So we are in Kroger's. Let's see. We're in Wegmans. We just launched in over 300 Walmarts, and kind of in the southeast area. So like Louisiana, Florida, Georgia, kind of down there. Let's see. Right now we're in Sprouts, which is a big West Coast retailer.
Mm.
We're also in Fresh Time, which I know they're based in Texas. I think they also have locations in, kind of other Southwest states as well. And I don't know if you know this, but we are also on JetBlue flights. So if you take a JetBlue flight, our Strawberry Mule is on there, and it's only $1 for a mocktail. So they'll obviously give you a club soda, and this is only $1. So it's a pretty good gig. It's a
Wow.
lightweight product. Obviously, it's 7 grams a packet, so it saves them margin. It helps them sustainably, and it's a very low cost item. Even retail, these are about $2 a drink. Our 6 packs go for about $7.49, so it's even less than that in a kind of bulk pricing. So yeah, it is really cool. The company's blown up like insane the last year or so. And Amazon too. We're on Amazon as well, and we can Prime as well. So
Wow, congratulations. Is
thank you.
it that's like I don't know, I just got really excited for you. Those are some pretty big deal brands to be married with. So that's
Yes.
amazing.
Yep. It's so cool because I mean, like I said, I started as an intern who, just kind of wanted to get my foot in the door. And now, I'm talking with the Sprouts buyer and talking to all these like giant, retailers and the people that work behind the scenes for them, and having kind of more of an understanding of what goes on in the grocery stores, like at an upper level, is really cool because that's not something you think about when you're not in this kind of world. So,
That's the world I come from. I was one of those buyers.
oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, not for elk, but for floral. And you get given so many options. That's how I understand the magnitude of what you're saying, because there's people in there peddling stuff all day long. And you're
Yep.
basically responsible for trying to figure out what the whole public wants or doesn't want. And that's,
Yep.
you have to really weigh things out.
And in our kind of section of the grocery store, it's cocktail mixers, right? So we are with like the ginger beers and, kind of that side of things. But that whole section, if you look at that section in the grocery store, it's all brands that have been there for 50, 60, 100 years. And there's been no innovation in that section, like literally until we came here. Obviously, there's some, I know like Recess is a big non-alc brand and they're in a bunch of stores. There's a few brands that do it, but like Kroger, it's like you look at that section, it's us, and then it's all the really really old guys. So it's kind of tough to not only break in but also to succeed. So that's kind of another little bragging point for us. Is it's cool to disrupt a category that's never really been disrupted.
And they generally don't have a big footprint. If I remember right, it's going to be 4 to 8 feet for that whole section, and it's usually
Yeah,
four.
yeah.
Um,
It's one little section on the shelf.
wow. Well, I just needed to celebrate that with you a little longer because that's a big, huge win.
And
Um,
JetBlue is the biggest because now we're also talking with like American Airlines, Delta, Amtrak, the trains. It's a really cool product to get on those things because it is lightweight, it's sustainable, it's low cost for them. So it's kind of a no-brainer, and it's cool to be talking to those giant airlines. I think talking to JetBlue is way cooler than talking to like Kroger. Not to bash Kroger, but the airlines are just a completely different world, and they have millions of things going on at all times.
yeah, that does make sense. And I haven't told many people this. I don't think I've ever said it on air, but once I get through my recovery playground thing, I want to own an airline with no alcohol, no gambling, and no kids. So you could be on my airline too.
We'll be first on that airline, that's
You
for
got
sure.
it. You got it. So if I don't know how this would translate in your role per se, but since you interned and you did so many things, tell me a little about what do I need to know as a pop-up or as a bottle shop to help educate consumers about craft mix.
So I think our top, I guess value propositions are they're low cost, right? So like I said, it's $1.99. You can sell them individually. So they're kind of a great upsell item. So any, store that carries us or wants to carry us, we sell little caddies here. Let me just grab one for you. They
I love
hold
show and tell.
show and tell. So we have these caddies here. They just kind of sit on the counter and they hold 24 single servings. It'll look a little prettier than I have it because this is really old, but it's great by the counter. You can just grab them. Like I said, it's $2. So any store that wants to carry us or currently carries us, that's a great option. We're willing to send you the free boxes. I guess another thing is we're low calorie, so we're much healthier than anything on the market. We're only 5 grams of sugar, 25 calories, because we're made with real fruit. So it's literally dehydrated like strawberries, mangoes, limes, ginger, all that sort of stuff into powder form. And that's what the drinks are. So they're
Wow.
not a lot of ingredients in them besides real fruit, and they're low calorie and low sugar. And we also have a zero sugar option as well, which is this skinny margarita. So if you're into kind of zero calorie items, this is the one for you.
So
And
that's
they taste.
probably keto friendly, that one.
Yes, yes, this one is exactly. It's zero net carbs, 0 calorie, 0 sugar, zero everything. And this one's even lighter. This is 3 grams of powder, so it's even less powder.
Wow. Beautiful.
Yep.
Daniel,
Um, yeah, no, that was it.
okay. Is there anything that I'm forgetting to ask you that you want to make sure that we know? We, the consumer, we, the industry.
That's a loaded question because like it's such a changing industry. And it's every month seems to be something new coming online or something, changing with, kind of what the buyer wants, what the buyer sees. But I think support your small brands, support your small businesses. If you see us anywhere, grab us $2. That's less than a coffee this day and age. So, we really want to take over the world because we do have a great product. This is another highlight I want to make for you is our espresso martini. There's no powdered espresso martinis on the market. So this is a perfect one, still 25 calories. And it's got the same packaging, of course, and it actually has caffeine because it's made with real espresso beans. So
That's interesting. I just went to the coffee shop today. I'm trying to figure out how to include them in the movement. So I brought them a bottle of free spirits, the bourbon with no alcohol. And I'm gonna see if I can include them. So I gotta see how that fits in.
yeah, no, it's the same thing. It's still 25 calories, the same kind of ingredient panel, and it tastes pretty bomb. It's a dark espresso martini. There's no, obviously you can add cream or whatever, Bailey's, or I guess not Bailey's, but any sort of creamer that you want to add to it to make it kind of a little bit lighter, but it does taste like a really good dark espresso martini.
Well, that sounds pretty amazing. Well,
Yep.
Daniel, I appreciate your eagerness. I'm so glad I had a chance to talk to you today. Um, yeah, I gotta figure out how to get some of that stuff in my store.
Yeah, no, 100%. I appreciate you for having me on. Like I said, I mean, we got a great product, a great brand, and I'm not even biased saying that. And if you ever need to reach out to me, my name's just Daniel@craftmix.com. That's my email, or whatever the case may be. I'm usually pretty good about responding relatively fast or very fast. So,
I'll put that in the show notes with your social as well.
yep.
So I'm gonna say goodbye, but I'm gonna hold you hostage on the air for just one more minute as soon as I press
Okay.
that.
No worries. Thank you so much.